Hey, what's up, Matthew? This is a quick demo video for you for your Jawa's Junkyard Lost Soul. This is installed with the Taco Shop brass chassis that you provided me, along with the switches that I asked you to get because I didn't have any of those in stock. Other than that, I put all the parts in the chassis for you. It is a 2-button setup. So you've got one switch here and you've got one switch over here. To get to your chassis, what you want to do is unscrew the handle. We're going to talk about this setup a little bit. This will come out of here, and that's okay. You can take this and pull it right out of the handle. All right, and we'll put the handle off to the side. So you've got a 28mm Smuggler's Outpost Elite speaker back here. This does have a removable battery setup. The spring side being your leaf spring, so that's going to be, where is that at? Over here by your speaker. That's your leaf spring for the negative side of your battery. All right. You have a 7-pixel accent strip underneath this lens. You have another 7-pixel strip over here. This is your board cover, but it's on here with magnets, so you can take it off. Be very careful with this. It's very thin. It's prone to bending right here, so just be very careful with that. You've got quite a few magnets on here. We've got 5, 6, 7, 10, 11, 12. There's 12 magnets on this guy, so it holds it on very well, but just be careful when you take it off. But when you do, here is your Proffie board. So access to your SD card and micro USB. I do have the board glued down to the shelf because it is a super cram food job in here. I tried very hard to make sure that you couldn't see any wires except for your coiled up speaker wire over here and the negative line running from that leaf spring. But other than that, I try to make those both black so they weren't an eyesore and no other wires are visible. And that was very difficult to do on this chassis. But when you're done, you can just put that right back on and it stays on. All right. Moving up here is your actual crystal chamber. This has the provided crystal that came with the kit, and there is an accent LED right underneath it. Moving up here, you have your 2 stock switches that you and I talked about. So there's one, 180 degrees. There's the other one. And then you have a Carl Chen V4 Neopixel connector. So on these switches, it's very hard to tell on here because both sides of the Saber are symmetrical. So what's power and what's auxiliary, right? I programmed these 2 switches. One is going to be green and one's going to be red. The green one's going to be your power and the red one's going to be your auxiliary. And what else do we got here? Let's go ahead and throw a battery in. This sound font is the Dagan Gera sound font from Kyberphonic, K-Sith, and Blue Mamba. They all collaborated on the giant Survivor package. This is the Dagan Gera font from it. All right, so let me know if you like this font, if you own it. If you want me to leave it on, I need to see that you own it. All right, I put both sides on here, so that font has a light side and a dark side, or a dark side and a High Republic side. The High Republic side has a yellow blade, so you'll have some yellow accents, and of course the dark side being red. All right, we'll put the battery in. Come over here and flip your kill switch right here.
Give it time. You didn't like me much at first either.
So you've got your yellow LEDs in your chassis. You've got your yellow crystal, and then that goes from blinking green. When it stops, then you'll get blinking red over here. All right, we'll turn it on from here. These will ramp up when the Saber's on. Your green power switch will stay on, but I've got your red going to pulsing when the Saber's on. All right, and then you've got your LEDs in here. And then twist off. What I've done to put this in the chassis or in the Saber is I've come over on your handle. I've made this small dot right here with a silver Sharpie. You can wipe that off in the future if you like. It's not permanent. But what you'll want to do is put this chassis in the handle and line up one of the switches with that dot. All right. And you want to do that with one eye or something. Make sure you get it lined up. Once it's in there, it's lined up with that dot. You can come over here. You can screw your handle on. Screw it down all the way. And then you take that dot that you can still see on your handle and line it up with one of the exterior switches. So now when I hit power, I'm good to go. Auxiliary. My minor bitch about this Saber is it has no chassis retention and it has no chassis clocking mechanism. So had to get a little creative on how am I going to get those two switches to line up with these two plungers. But you can see now you've got some shine through on your power switch, which is green, and then your auxiliary switch, which is red. All right, so you just come over here and hit the green switch. You got a nice shine through for the crystal chamber right here. And this is a beefy boy. We'll twist it off and put a blade in. It does take a 7/8 inch blade. So put a blade in real quick and lock it down. If you do decide to take off that little dot that I put on there with a Sharpie, you will want to put some kind of identifying mechanism on this handle so you know where to put the switches and line them up in the handle before you put them in. Put the whole thing in the Saber, rather. So it lights up a blade very nice. We want to go to the dark side font.
My name is Dagan Gera.
The blade is red, your crystal is red, and the LEDs in the chassis will be red, and I'll show you that at the end. So this is all steel, and I think brass also. So it is a hefty Saber. Blaster bolt deflex is just tapping auxiliary. Blade lockup is holding it down and hitting the Saber. Get that blade lockup right there. And then each of them have a sound font. So just do a long press on the power. And then do another long press to turn it off. And that's how you do it right there. So we'll take the blade out. You've got a single blade retention screw located near the emitter. Very easy to see, but it's right there. Okay. Take the blade out and just unscrew the handle. The chassis is pretty snug in the handle, so you shouldn't have any twisting issues when you're holding it like this. All right, but just to show you, the LEDs in your chassis are red to match the crystal chamber. All right, so we'll go ahead and we'll turn this guy on. Flip it off from the kill switch, and it kills power like it should. You should be able to pop that out pretty easy with your finger. But that is your Lost Soul by Jawa's Junkyard with the Taco Shop brass chassis. Let me know if you have any questions. It's pretty late in the afternoon right now, so I can get this out to you first thing in the morning. All right, thanks, man.